Hello everyone, Jill here. It's been a while since my last video for JRPG, so I think now it's the perfect time to start recommending some new games. Don't worry though, all of these games are available to play right now. Since there isn't that many great JRPG that was released recently, I decided to add some games from the last 2 months of 2022 into the list just in case you missed it. Alright then, let's get started. One Piece Odyssey is a simple yet fun JRPG edition that will appeal to both fans and newcomers to the One Piece series. The game has a great storyline, memorable characters, engaging gameplay, and gorgeous visuals that bring the world of One Piece to life. The battles in this game are turn-based and use a rock-paper-scissors system, which stimulates you to learn the strengths and weaknesses of each character in order to take advantage of their abilities. It's a bit shame that the progressing experience doesn't feel as satisfying as other great JRPGs, but still, as a fan of the series, I think you should try to play this game. Front Mission First Remake is a faithful remake of the classic masterpiece. Unlike your typical fantasy JRPG, this game puts players in control of a squad of mechs known as Wanzers. One thing that makes this game stand out is the ability to customize your mechs with different weapons and parts. This customization adds another layer of depth to the game's tactical gameplay, as players must carefully balance their budget and resources to create the most effective Wanzers possible. It's a bit shame that they couldn't manage to modernize the experience further with more quality of life improvements, but as someone who loves the original game, I find this remake enjoyable for the most part. Dragon Quest Treasures is a spin-off game in the Dragon Quest series. Here, you take control of Eric and Mia and explore the islands of Draconia to find treasure while racing against other gangs. It has many of the classic features of the series, like cute monsters, funny jokes, interesting characters, and of course, fun gameplay. Dragon Quest Treasures strikes a good balance between exciting and relaxing. There are plenty of side quests, monsters to find, and treasures to discover, but it never feels overwhelming. In fact, I find myself playing this game more than I should have. Labyrinth of Galleria, The Moon Society, is a dungeon-crawling RPG that was developed by Nippon Ichi Software. If you know this Gaia, well, this guy might seem familiar to you. This game is a sequel to Labyrinth of Refrain series, and it features similar gameplay mechanics, including first-person exploration, turn-based combat, and a customizable puppet system. The game's core gameplay loop revolves around exploring the labyrinth, battling monsters, and collecting loot. While the game's story might not be the most engaging or memorable, the game's focus on exploration, combat, and loot collection is well executed and will keep players engaged for hours. Romancing Saga Minstrel Song Remastered is a re-release of the classic RPG Romancing Saga Minstrel Song. It offers an enhanced gameplay experience with better graphics, updated mechanics, and new story content, making it a great choice for both longtime fans of the series and newcomers alike. Like the original game, Romancing Saga Minstrel Song is a turn-based RPG that features a non-linear story and a wide cast of playable characters. The game's story is told through a series of interconnected episodes, with each episode focusing on a different character or group of characters. The choices that players make during these episodes will have an impact on the overall story, with different endings and outcomes depending on the player's decisions. Like a Dragon, Ishin is a unique and engaging addition to the Yakuza franchise. Unlike the usual Yakuza game, this one is set in the historical period of Japan known as Bakumatsu, and it follows the story of a former samurai named Sakamoto Ryoma. It features a variety of gameplay elements including exploration, combat, and side quests. The combat is similar to the previous games in the Yakuza franchise, with some additional elements such as gunplay and the ability to summon allies for assistance. The character designs are also well done, with a variety of unique and memorable personalities that fit well within the game setting. crafting a new game that is both familiar and evokes nostalgia from past generations is an immense task, but this indie JRPG somehow managed to pull this off. While the game initially appears to follow a typical JRPG storyline, it actually delves deeper into the human elements and political intrigue that are surprisingly well written. The game also offering a unique combat system, combining the classic turn-based combat with a fresh mechanic called the overdrive system. But do you know what impressed me the most? It's the graphic. For a 2D art style, it is so beautifully executed. With great storyline, fresh combat mechanic, and amazing graphics, this indie game is absolutely exceeds my expectation. After the successful release of Fire Emblem Three Houses, Fire Emblem Engage has taken a different approach to its adventure. Unlike its predecessor, which focused on relationships and social simulation, Engage focuses primarily on combat. Don't worry though, the game still manages to create likable characters and entertaining story, but if you look for a live sim experience, well, maybe you will be a bit disappointed. The turn-based tactical action in Engage is the best it has ever been, with plenty of tutorials that teach the fundamentals to the players. The combat maps are also full of surprises, such as innocent bystanders to rescue, useful treasures to nab, and points to defend, which keep the game fresh and unique. The level design is highly addictive and challenging, and players can adjust the difficulty to suit their needs. Octopath Traveler 2 is a sequel to the original Octopath Traveler. It is a narrative-driven game that features 8 different protagonists, each with their own unique story arc. Compared to the first game, the developers listened to the criticisms about how the stories were told and made significant refinements in the sequel. Octopath Traveler 2 has a more complex and nuanced structure, with a stronger crossover narrative arcs that allow better interplay and relationships between the characters.
Attack! I summon you!
Now, this isn't exactly a new game, because as we all know, Persona 3 Portable is a game that was released back in the glory days of PSP era. I don't think we have to argue about is this game worth playing or not. Instead, I want to give you some insight about this remastered. For a remaster, I have to say that Atlus should have done better. They could try to combine the elements of Persona 3 Fest with Persona 3 Portable and give it a little bit of quality of life improvements. But no, all we got is just a straight PSP port. Well, does that mean the game is bad? No. But should you play this if you have already played both versions of Persona 3? Well, unless you're searching for a nostalgia experience, I don't think you will get much from this. But if you're new to the series, then by all means, you have to play this game.
Enemies remain.
Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion almost feels like a remake than a remaster. The game uses the framework of the original PSP version, but rebuilds much of it to bring it closer to Final Fantasy VII Remake. The character models and environments are detailed, and the menus are clean and functional, making the game look modern and high budget. Combat is also much faster than in the original PSP version. Zack can dodge, roll, and attack in a quicker pace, making the combat feel smoother and more satisfying. As the predecessor to the Final Fantasy Tactics, this game has a well-crafted storyline. The game's central theme of war is a devastating one, and Tactics Ogre captures this idea brilliantly. Tactics Ogre's gameplay is similar to other grid-based strategy RPGs, with a carefully chosen mini-army fighting the enemy squad on the battlefield. Stats, gear, class variation, and previous turn actions determine movement and combat outcomes, adding a level of strategy complexity. Even in its classic form, the game still offers one of the best tactical RPG experience, and now, with the arrival of the Reborn version, it has successfully modernized the whole experience to today's standard. Monster Hunter Rise is now available for the current gen PlayStation and Xbox consoles. For those of you who have played this game on PC or Switch, well, technically there's nothing for you here. But if you only own a current-gen PlayStation or Xbox consoles, this game is a must-buy. Unlike the predecessors, Monster Hunter Rise focuses more on the exciting part of the game, like the combat mechanic, gear crafting, and skill builds. The quality of life improvement in this game is just the best of all Monster Hunter series. Everything just feels easier to learn, whether it is the map navigation, monster weaknesses, and many more. But don't get me wrong, despite the game is easy to learn, mastering it is a whole different story. And guess who's also joined the current-gen console squad? Persona 4 Golden is an enhanced version of the original Persona 4 that was released for the PlayStation 2 in 2008. But since this version already released for PC, I must say again that if you've already played the PC version, well, there's nothing for you here. As for the gameplay and features, well, we all already know that Persona 4 Golden is the absolute peak of Persona 4. So if you haven't played already, this console's version can be your best option to experience it. Wild Hearts is a game that shares many similarities with the Monster Hunter series. Its giant monster slaying missions, crafting-based equipment progression, and campaign structure all resemble those of Monster Hunter. Despite these similarities, Wild Hearts stands out in its own way. The game feels more easier to get into than Monster Hunter. There isn't much downtime like sharpness mechanic, and the inventory access is much more intuitive than in Monster Hunter. The character rebuilding system, which allows players to create structures during combat, is also an excellent addition, which adds an interesting puzzle element to the game. However, the variety of monsters seems a bit low for the time being, with only a few elemental variants and the mighty versions. I wish they will update the game with more content, since I have a good feeling that this game might have what it takes to compete with Monster Hunter series. Alright boys, I think that's it for today. I know that there are probably other great new JRPG that I haven't mentioned yet, so how about sharing your best new JRPG that probably deserve the spot in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss another great list. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Peace!
この喧嘩